In this lesson, we will learn how to present yourself and how to present someone else. The first thing that we would want to know is how to greet the person according to the time of the day. So, of course, if it's morning, we say good morning. And in the Philippines, this greeting is only used until 11:59. People would usually look at their watches and make sure that it's not yet 12 o'clock. And if it's not yet 12 o'clock, we use this greeting. Filipinos are very scrupulous with this, so be careful. So in the morning, we say, Magandang umaga, magandang umaga, magandang umaga. And then good afternoon. There are two ways to say good afternoon in Tagalog. The first one is in the early afternoon, which is about 12 to 2:59 in the afternoon. So 12 noon until 2:59, we use this magandang tanghali. Magandang tanghali. Now, this is a bit flexible, unlike magandang umaga. So if you are about 2:30 in the afternoon, you can say the second way to say good afternoon. But of course, if it's earlier, if it's closer to 12 noon, we would expect you to say magandang tanghali. Magandang tanghali. And then the second way to say it from 3 o'clock to 5:59 is magandang hapon. Magandang hapon. And then we say good evening. Actually, in the Philippines, or in many languages of the Philippines too, good evening and good night are only translated the same way. So, good evening starts at 6 p.m. So, I know in some areas, if the sun is still there by around 7 o'clock in the evening, you would say good afternoon. But here in the Philippines, whether there is sun or not, by 6 o'clock, when the clock strikes 6, you say good evening, and we say magandang gabi. Magandang gabi. And as I have mentioned earlier, so this is both a greeting and a parting. So, for example, you meet somebody and it's evening, we say magandang gabi. And for example, I'm in the party and I would need to go, I would also say magandang gabi to signal that I'm leaving. And for example, you want to say goodnight to your family, you would also say magandang gabi. So now let's go to the presentation proper. How do you present yourself? Let's say I am Juan. My name is Juan. Actually, it's pronounced Juan in Tagalog. So first, say I, ako, si Juan. Ako si Juan. Ako is I, and you see the word si there. It is not actually the verb am. It is a definite article. So in Tagalog, the names carry a definite article with them. So we say the. Si is actually the, and it precedes a name. Juan. Ako si Juan. Ako si Juan. So we're basically saying I, the Juan. Ako si Juan. And we don't translate the verb to be. So how about a friend? So I'm presenting my friend. She is Maria. She is Maria. So she is siya, and Maria, si Maria. Siya, si Maria. So we say she, siya, and then we remember the article, the, si, and Maria. Siya, si, Maria. So we're basically saying she, the Maria. And we don't translate the verb to be. How about a male friend? We say Ricardo. He is Ricardo. So siya. He is also siya. So siya may be translated he, or she, depending on the context. And in Tagalog, there is no difference in gender. We don't have grammatical gender in Tagalog. So he and she are both siya. They're translated the same, using the same word in Tagalog. And si Ricardo, siya, si Ricardo. So siya is he in this context. And remember, si, the definite article, and Ricardo, siya si Ricardo. Mhm. And how about if we want to present two people? We say they are Anna and Maria. So they is sila. Uh, in some languages, I know that there is a difference when we are presenting a group of all females, but in Tagalog, there is no distinction. Every they, whether it's a mixed group or just a group of one gender, we say sila. And then we are introduced to a new article. So sina is also the, but for more than one name. So they, the Anna, and Maria. So sila, sina Ana, at Maria. Mhm. Okay, it's also possible to say sila, si Ana, at si Maria. So there is uh, each name would carry its own definite article. But the difference with this one is when you say the one that I said earlier, well, sila, sina Ana, at Maria, sila, sina Ana, at Maria gives me the impression that Anna and Maria are somehow related to each other. They may be friends, or they may be cousins, or they are both family. While sila, si Ana, at si Maria, uh, it gives us the impression that they just happen to be two people that I know, and they are not related to each other. Maybe uh, they look the same, but yeah, or maybe you just saw them and they are at the different parts of the house and in a party. Anna is doing her own thing and Maria is doing her own thing. So sina, when you use sina, Anna at Maria, it means that they are related, and si Ana at si Maria, they have no relations with each other. So sila, sina Ana at Maria, sila, si Ana at Maria. Okay, now we know how to present ourselves and how to present somebody else. We would want to know how to ask the other person's name. And we do that by asking what is your name, of course. And to do that in Tagalog, we say, ano ang, ano ang. This actually means what the. Ang is also a definite article, but used for all other things except for a name. So later we'll learn more about the definite articles, but uh, ano is almost always followed by the definite article ang. Ano ang. And then the next word is we don't translate that. And then the next thing that we would have to translate is name. In Tagalog, the thing that is possessed comes before the possessor. So, what is your name? So, your comes before the name because name is the one that's being possessed and your is the possessor. But in Tagalog, it's the other way around. So, we translate first name, and name in Tagalog is pangalan. Pangalan. And then finally, the possessor is mo. Ano ang pangalan mo? Ano ang pangalan mo? And basically that means what the name your. Ano ang pangalan mo? And most of the time people would contract ano and ang so that it would sound anong pangalan mo? Anong pangalan mo? It's actually more common to hear anong pangalan mo than ano ang pangalan mo. In the same way that it's more common to hear what's your name than what is your name. So, anong pangalan mo? Ano ang pangalan mo? And of course, we answer, ako si Juan. How about what is his name? So we want to know that male's name. So we say, ano ang pangalan? And then his is niya. Niya. Ano ang pangalan niya? Ano ang pangalan niya? What the name, his, anong pangalan niya? And again, it's contracted to anong pangalan niya. Ano ang pangalan niya? Anong pangalan niya? And you say he is Ricardo. Siya si Ricardo. How about what is her name? What is her name? So what? Ano ang? And is this not translated? And then the name, how do you say name again in Tagalog? Pangalan. Pangalan. And her is also niya. So like in the case of siya, niya is also used for both his and her. And what we're basically saying is what the name her. Ano ang pangalan niya? Anong pangalan niya? She is Maria. Siya si Maria. How about if we want to know the names of two people? So I don't think we say what are their names in English. We say who are they? And that's basically how do we say we ask the same question in Tagalog. Who is sino? And we don't translate R. Say sila. Sino sila, which means who they. And we answer they are Anna and Maria. So they, sila, sina Ana at Maria. Sila, sina Ana at Maria. Mhm. They are Anna and Maria, and it's sila, si Ana at si Maria, depending on the context. Another thing that we would want to know is uh, the domicile, or where does the person reside. And we say, where do you live? Where do you live? So where in Tagalog is saan. Saan. And then the next word that we translate is you. Ka. Saan ka live? Nakatira. Saan ka nakatira? So take note that live here, uh, nakatira means to reside and not to live as in to become a living thing. Uh, saan ka nakatira is where do you reside? Saan ka nakatira? Mhm. Saan ka nakatira? And how do you answer that? I live in Manila. So Tagalog is a VSO language. So we translate first the verb to reside or to live, nakatira, and then the subject comes next, I, ako, nakatira ako, and then the rest of the sentence, sa Maynila, nakatira ako sa Maynila. So again, verb, subject, and then the rest of the sentence, nakatira ako sa Maynila. And then what happens if we want to ask, uh, where does a male friend live? So again, how do you say where? Saan? And how do we say he again? Siya. Saan siya nakatira? Saan siya nakatira? So as you can see, the English or the Tagalog translation is basically the same order as the English question, but the answer is quite different in in order or in syntax. So, where he live, saan siya nakatira? Where does he live? Saan siya nakatira? And we answer that he lives in Manila. He lives in Manila, and then so now again we apply the VSO syntax. So the first thing that we would have to translate is the verb lives. Lives is nakatira, nakatira, and then the next is the subject, he, siya, nakatira siya, and then the rest of the sentence, sa Maynila. Nakatira siya sa Maynila. Nakatira siya sa Maynila. How about if we want to know the domicile of a female friend? And we say, again, where? Saan? Saan siya nakatira? Saan siya nakatira? And this is basically the same construction, same translation of where does he live. Mhm. So where does he live and where does she live? They are just translated the same way in Tagalog. And if we want to say she lives in Manila, nakatira, again, the verb, and then the subject, siya, sa Maynila, nakatira siya sa Maynila, nakatira siya sa Maynila. And basically, again, this is the same way that we translated earlier, he lives in Manila. They are just the same translation in Tagalog. So what if we are asking for information from two people? And yeah, in Tagalog, there is a difference between the singular you and the plural you. Mhm. So how do we do that? We say, saan? And you, plural, in Tagalog is kayo. Saan kayo? And then live is nakatira. Saan kayo nakatira? And we answer that by, okay, again, the verb first, nakatira, and we in Tagalog is kami. Nakatira kami sa Maynila. Nakatira kami sa Maynila. Now, like in some other languages, Tagalog also uses a second person plural when we are showing respect to the person whom we are speaking with. So, for example, we learn that that person is a doctor or a lawyer, and we want to show respect to him. So we use a second person plural. And we do that where? Saan? You is kayo, nakatira. However, we insert one small word, po. Saan po kayo nakatira? To signal that we are showing respect to the person with whom we are speaking. So, uh, po is a particle that shows respect. Uh, when I was younger, we would usually use this for our parents, but now the usage is declining. Uh, some children would not use po with their parents. It's still encouraged, but I here, especially in Manila, uh, the usage is getting less and less frequent. Also, when I was younger, we would use po when we're talking with our grandparents. And until now, I think we would still use po with our grandparents. So, if we want to show respect to somebody else, we would say, saan po kayo nakatira? Also, one interesting thing in the Philippines is that because our families are big, for example, my grandfather had six brothers, and it's possible that I would have an uncle who is younger than me. So what happened was I had I have an uncle who is 5 years younger than me, and culturally, we would have to uh, treat him as older than we are. We call it older by blood. And for example, in a reunion, and I would like to ask my younger uncle where does he live, we would also need to use this. Saan po kayo nakatira? And then, of course, we would answer, I live in Manila. Nakatira ako sa Maynila. Sometimes, so what if we want to ask the same information using a name? So, for example, in the party, I was presented to Anna, and she's now gone, and I want to ask the domicile where Anna is living. So, where does Anna live? And we answer that by where. hmm Now, this one has a different syntax with the rest of the questions that we learned earlier. This one follows the question VSO. So, so first we have the question word, and then the verb is live or reside, nakatira, and then finally the subject, si Ana. Saan nakatira si Ana? And don't forget that Ana or any name, any proper name, will always carry with them the definite article si. So, saan nakatira si Ana? And how to answer that? Ana lives in Manila. So, again, VSO, lives is nakatira si Ana sa Maynila. Nakatira si Ana sa Maynila. So, it's the same syntax, VSO. Now, for us who are living in Manila, we don't expect that every one of us are Manila natives. So actually, we are always assuming that that person comes from another province. So we would usually ask, from which province do you come from? From which province do you come from? So how do you ask that in Tagalog? From which is saan? Saan? Again, from which does not mean saan. Saan is where, as we have learned earlier. But since the information that we want to know is a location, we prefer to use saan. And then province is provincia, which is a loan word from Spanish, provincia. And then, so, uh, so that we would know that these two words are related to each other, there is letter G that we add in after saan so that the end sound would be more nasal. So it's a saang probinsya, and then ka nagmula. Saang probinsya ka nagmula? Usually foreigners would not add the G. That's a common mistake of foreigners, and when you do that, we know automatically that you are not a native Filipino speaker or you're not from here. So people say, saan probinsya ka nagmula? And we would know that you are not a native speaker of Tagalog. So if you want your Tagalog to sound more native, we say, saang probinsya ka nagmula? hmm And then sometimes uh, we want to be more Tagalog. We replace probinsya with lalawigan. Saang lalawigan ka nagmula? Those are two ways of saying province. And also, this is the same way if we want to ask, from which country do you come from? And again, from which? We use saan because we want to get the location as an information. And then country is bansa, bansa. And then again there we put the G so that we would know that they are related. Saang bansa ka nagmula? Saang bansa ka nagmula? Saang bansa ka nagmula? And how do we answer those questions? Let's say I'm from Batangas. I'm from Batangas, and we answer from mula ako mula ako sa Batangas. Mula ako sa Batangas. How about she is from Bulacan? Bulacan is another Tagalog speaking area. So from is mula, mula. She, again, we have learned earlier, siya, mula siya sa Bulacan. Mula siya sa Bulacan. How about he is from the Philippines? So mula siya sa Pilipinas. Mula siya sa Pilipinas. And they are from the US. So mula sila sa Amerika. Yes, in Tagalog we use America as the United States. So mula sila sa Amerika. They are from the United States. Mula sila sa Amerika. And of course, after we have given our information to somebody else, we would like to say it's a pleasure to meet you. This is quite a tongue twister, and yeah, it could be a challenge. But once you know how to say this, people will be very friendly with you. It means you have took the time, you have taken the time to learn our language. So how do you say that in our language? We say, ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Again, so it's a very long phrase and quite a tongue twister. Again, ikinagagalak. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. One more time. Ikinagagalak. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. So what does it mean? It means it gives me pleasure to meet you. Mhm. So ikinagagalak kong, so it means it gives me pleasure. Makilala is to meet and ka is you. So let's review now what we have learned in this lesson. So we have some questions here for you. How do you answer anong pangalan mo? Anong pangalan mo? And how do you answer saan ka nakatira? Saan ka nakatira? How do you answer saang bansa ka nagmula? Saang bansa ka nagmula? And finally, how do you say it's a pleasure to meet you? It's a pleasure to meet you.